first level for community development, right? And I think when you begin to hone this on a much higher level, creating refinements, and then packaging them, aligning it now for a bigger way of how do we market without making them feeling that we're commodifying it. And that's where it's important that we make a stand, that we tell the story of our textiles, the story of our art, and not just allow anyone else to purchase and then sell it like a commodity. We need to make a stand, and that's why the refinement of that, I think it's a collaboration of the various sectors with the artists and the cultural sector. I really truly believe that.
I see a very, very fine line there, right? Because what about the people who make a destination merchandise for tourism? Is that considered commodification of their art?
I think we need to educate a lot. I think the cultural community needs to seriously reach out and to begin interaction, and I think that's where NCCA can actually begin informing them of how to enhance the space so that livelihood, the festivals that are there are not lost, with the kinds of dances that are projected there, right? The kinds of crafts that we sell are brought to a different level. The artists can have exhibitions, the films can be shown there. In areas where you can consolidate, collaborate, and bring it all together, we refine our expression. I think that's the direction where government can go also.
Yes, the word, the refinement, not to refine our expressions. And I would like to talk about the festivals that year in and year out we celebrate. They are losing their refinement.
It's really sad because not just the refinement, the authenticity is lost.
Exactly.
You have festivals looking like everything like the Mardi Gras abroad. And you've lost the reason why they're dancing this way.
That's very true, Jenny.
I think NCCA had a Culture and Arts Management Association, Culture and Arts Management, ICAM. Yeah, Ness and I were part of that when we had begun it, and one of the key directions there was to be able to help continue training cultural managers to make sure that authenticity of our dances and our chants are not bastardized, right?
That's true. That's very true. Well, we shall go back to that very interesting topic. Well, I also agree with Jenny that a lot of our fiestas and festivals are losing their refinement, their authenticity, and their originality.
A lot, I think, again, is back to the cultural education. And I think NCCA is key because of the Philippine Cultural Education Plan, which it has tried to be able to move into the actual educational system, and we're still trying to do that in all the various ways, through the museums, through information, through the media. You know? I think that really it's a concerted effort to be, for us to be able to not just refine, but really, I think, consolidate everything, including the livelihood side. Because we might want to express the spirit, and I'm an artist myself. You want to express it, but the body needs to be fed. So we need to be smart and focused in the way we project whatever we can sell, either through our services, through our artistic expressions of our crafts, our movies, our ideas, all these things have a value. Our intangible heritage has a value.
Now, we mentioned the expats a while ago. Do you think the expats could help us revive our festivals or go back to the authenticity? Because it's the expats who always say, you know, oh, where's my plaza? Or where's what happened to my church? So maybe they're saying, what happened to my festival? I can't recognize it anymore. Do you think the expats can help us that way?
You know, personally, I really believe that they can. We have had Australian group come to the Eco Store to want to give specific for the cultural community's development. So they are there. I think what we are lacking is a port or group. If NCCA were to be the one to try to do this, for example, I'm not sure if it's in the mandate, but I think there should be a very clear program that should be positioned out there on the government level so that people, or maybe private-public partnerships, so there's a certain trust. No? There's no entry at this point. There might be financing help, but is it really directed to heritage, to the cultural groups. That's something we should be able to study, I think.
That's very interesting, Jenny, that there should be a portal through which our expats can give capitalization or any
And it
sort
should
of
be
funds.
public and private partnership, where
yes.
there's a certain integrity, so that they can trust and feel that if they give their money, there will be clear milestones in the development. This is where it's going. It just has to be created, a real plan, and then put out there so that they can actually put money back to the country.
Well, I think a lot of cultural workers and entrepreneurs also have to resort to loan sharks because they can't get any well, you know, loans. So what if we encourage through the proper offices the Filipino expats to send money, capitalization for our cultural workers? Do you think that's going to work?
I think so, because there are two biggest concerns now as far as the creative industry is concerned. Artists and cultural workers need, number one, financing, and number two, marketing and distribution for their products. Now, if the first part, financing, could be provided, then that solves half of the problem. And rather than going through loan sharks, which charge
5-6.
5-6, then this will help them a lot. And I heard that the payback, those who pay back their loans is high, 99%.
Most of them are
And
women.
most of them
huh?
are women.
Most of
I
them
don't
are
know
women.
about you guys.
That's true. Most of them are women. But I really think that the development of the cultural entrepreneur is key if we want our arts to be sustainable for long term, for the simple reason that they need to be a little bit business-minded.
Yes.
They need to, we all need to be, just so that we can sustain what we want to do.
Well, I think the NCCA has plans to do that, to develop cultural entrepreneurs.
Well, yes, definitely. I just want to add to what Ness is pointing out, that it's twofold always, because financing is just one aspect. And the other one is really to have the members of the sector themselves organized. So I think that's a big part also of the work of the NCCA, is to organize the sectors, because you could have the financing, and yet if people are not educated or they're not oriented properly enough to really handle this. And this is, I think, where the management part comes in. A few years ago, a few of us were fortunate enough to participate in this course called Managing the Arts with AIM, with the Asian Institute. But I think basically what I can take away from that is that, of course, in the end, it's still organizational work.
And I'll add to that, beyond the organizational work is branding, positioning, and marketing, because you need to bring it to the market. Even if you're organized and you can't get that gap across to the market, I think that we're never going to be able to be sustainable. I think it's key. We need to get it there.
I'd like to cite the example of the visual arts and our sector, which is art galleries. I think over the years, because of education and continuing dialogue, there has come to be a better understanding of the interrelation between the two, because the artists produce the art, and they now realize that there is a need for professional art managers to precisely do the marketing. This is where the expertise that you mentioned, branding, comes in, the marketing. It comes in because of the professional management. I think especially for the international community to be able to come in with that confidence to invest in us and to patronize us, that is a very, very big part, that we show them that we are actually organized and professionalized with the proper, skills to market ourselves and put our best foot forward in front of the world. And this is, I think, what we're trying to do in our case, because I just had to mention Manila Art, which is an annual art fair that we have started, and this is a gallery-led exhibition, of course with full cooperation with the artists, and this is precisely to really put our best foot forward and tell the world that we are ready to be patronized, we are ready to be viewed by the world and to participate in the world art market.
Well, keep it up. Let's give Nestor the last word.
Oh, I think NCCA can do a lot for the creative industry. I think primarily it should do programs for awareness building within the sector, because many artists and cultural workers are not aware of the animal called cultural industry or creative industry.
Well, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Nestor. Thank you very much for joining us in this Art Talk. I am Gemma Cruz Araneta.